Book H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. Chapter number 1. The Eve of the War. In the last years of the 19th century, no one would have believed that our world was being watched. It was being watched very keenly by people who had more intelligence than man, though more intelligent yet as mortal as man. While men were busy with their various jobs, they were being closely observed and studied. It was done as narrowly as a man with a microscope observes creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Men went about doing their work with perfect assurance and peace of mind. No one gave a thought to the older worlds of the space as sources of human danger. They dismissed the idea of life upon them as impossible. If they thought there was life on Mars, they thought of it as inferior to that on Earth. Yet across the gulf of space, intellectual and sympathetic regarded the Earth with jealous eyes. They were surely and slowly drawing their plans against us. The planet Mars revolves around the Sun at a mean distance of 1,400,000,000 miles. The light and heat it receives from the Sun is barely half of that received by this world. It must be older than our world. If Wedge hypothesis has any truth, life upon its surface must begin its course long before that on Earth. It has air and water and all that is necessary for the support of life. Yet so vain is man, and so blinded by it, and that no writer up to the end of the 19th century expressed the idea that there could be life beyond our Earth. Nobody gave any importance to the fact that since Mars is older than Earth and remoter from the Sun, then it is logical and that it must be more distant from life's beginning, but nearer to its end. Our neighbor and its physical condition is still a mystery. Even in its equatorial region, the midway temperature is close to that of our coldest winter. Its ocean has shrunk until they cover only one-third of its surface. For us, the last stage of exhaustion is still incredibly far away, but it has become a problem for the inhabitants of Mars. The problem has made them more intelligent, more powerful, and hardened their hearts. With their advanced instruments and intelligence, they have been looking on our warmer planet, green with vegetation and grey with water, with broad stretches of populous country and vast blue skies. We, men, who inhabit the earth, must be to them as alien and lowly as monkeys and lemurs are to us. The intellectual side of man already admits that life is a constant struggle for existence. It seems this too is a belief of minds upon Mars. The world is far gone in its schooling to carry warfare sunward, and with people whom they regard as inferior is their only escape from destruction. We cannot judge them harshly. We have also brought destruction on our own species, not only upon animals but upon its inferior races also. For example, the vanished bison and dodo among animals and the original inhabitants of Tasmania by the foreign European immigrants. How can we complain if the Martians invaded in the same spirit? The Martians have been working in a well planned manner. Their mathematical learning is far ahead of ours. They have carried out their preparations with perfect unanimity. We didn't have the instruments to become aware of the gathering trouble. Men like Schiaparelli watch the red planet but fail to interpret the fluctuating appearances of the marking they noted so well. All the time the Martians must have been getting ready. During the opposition of 1894, a great light was seen on the illuminated part of Mars, first at the Lick Observatory, then by Perrotin at night, and then by other observers. English readers heard of it first in the issue of Nature dated August 2. I think the blaze may have been the casting of the huge gun in the vast pit sunk into the planet from which their shots were fired at us. It was started 6 years ago, As Mars approached, opposition level of Java reported of a huge outbreak of a glowing gas upon the planet. It had happened towards the midnight of the 12th, and the spectroscope to which he had at once restored indicated a mass of flaming gas, chiefly hydrogen, moving with an amazing velocity towards the Earth. It became invisible about quarter past 12, that is, within 15 minutes. He compared it to the huge puff of flame suddenly spurting out of the planet as flaming gases rushed out of a gun. Yet, in the next day, there was nothing in the papers except a little note in the Daily Telegraph. The world was totally ignorant of one of the gravest dangers threatening the human race. I might not have heard of the eruption at all had I not met Ogilvy, the well known astronomer at Ottershire. He was so excited that he invited me to observe the red planet with him that night. I remembered that night very distinctly. The black and silent observatory, the steady tickling of the clock work of the telescope, the little slit in the roof. Ogilvy moved about invisible but audible. Looking through the telescope, one saw a circle of deep blue and the little round planet swimming in the field. It seemed such a little thing, so bright and small, and still a pin's head of light. As I watched, the planet seemed to grow larger and smaller, and to advance and recede. It was simply because my eyes were tired. Next to it in the field, I remember, were three faint points of light. Three tiny stars, very remote, and all around it was the unfathomable darkness of empty space, and invisible to me because it was so far away and small. Came the thing that they were sending us. The thing that was to bring so much struggle and calamity and death to the earth, flying swiftly and steadily, drawing nearer every minute, was this unerring missile. That night, too, there was another jetting of gas from the distant planet. I saw a reddish flash at the edge. Another invisible missile started on its way to the Earth from Mars, just a second or so after the first one. Ogilvy and I watched the night till one, little suspecting the meaning of the minute gleam. Ogilvy scoffed at the idea of life on Mars. His idea was that meteorites might be falling in a heavy shower upon the planet. The chances against anything man-like on Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, he said. Hundreds of observers saw the flame that night and for 10 nights continuously, a flame each night. Why had they stopped after the 10th, no one knows. The daily papers now woke up and talked about volcanoes on Mars, and all unsuspected. Those missiles and the Martian had fired at us drew nearer and nearer. For my own part, I was much occupied in learning to ride the bicycle and busy writing a series of papers. One night, the first missile then could scarcely have been 10 million miles away. I went for a walk with my wife. It was starlight, and I explained the signs of the zodiac to her and pointed out Mars, a bright dot of light. It was a warm night. Coming home, we passed a group playing music and singing. There were lights in the upper windows of houses as people prepared for bed. From the railway station in the distance came the sound of shunting trains. My wife pointed out to me the brightness of the red, green, and yellow signal lights against the sky. It seemed so safe and peaceful.